You know what I mean?
Right.
But I had a little less than a 90% success over all those years. That was over a 40-some-odd year span.
I have a few of your patients, their blades are still in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got some of your patients, your blades are in too.
Yeah, I hear that all the
One that I
time.
want to take out, I can't get the darn thing out.
Yeah, but then it shouldn't come out.
Here you go.
Hey, actually, I've actually built around some of your blades.
Yeah, see the biggest...
The teeth have fallen out around
Yeah,
it,
that's
and
what's
it's
happening.
compromised the prosthesis,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now I'm having to build around it. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When you end up looking back at your career, what is the most, do you think, what's really created the most pleasure in your life?
It's such a rapid pace that I didn't have much time to enjoy myself, really and truly. I was, for example, I went to Italy over 75 times. I've given courses in practically every university in Italy from the north to the south. I don't want to name them now because it's a whole load of them. And then I would do surgery every 6 weeks over there. And then I'd leave on a Thursday night from my office. I'd get there Friday morning. They'd pick me up by car, right into the office. By 9:30, I'm in surgery till about 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. The next day, I'd start about 6 in the morning and go on till about 6 at night. Then I have dinner, and then they put me on a sleepaway train to Paris, and then I get there about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd wait till 11:30 they put me on the Concorde for a while. It was phenomenal, and it was a Sunday, so I'd leave Paris 11:30 Sunday morning, and I'd get back 11:40 the same day to New York.
So tell me, think back now. What really has created what are some things when you look back over this incredible career? When you look back retrospectively, what are some things that really created pleasure when you look back retrospectively?
Well, the friendships that I made with many of my European pioneers. I mean, we were all very close together. Muratori was a very dear friend of mine, Giordano. I spoke to him the day before he died. Gustav Dahl used to write to me all the time. What's his name again? Alvin Strock. I never knew his brother, but Alvin was a wonderful guy, handsome guy. And I remember when I came out with my last 3 books, he came over to my office showing me those slides to make sure I have them in the books, showing when he put them in 1938 and all that, which I had in the book. And we just had some great times together. Sammy Sandhouse from Switzerland with the CBS crystalline bone screw, he was a genius. And they were good times. I mean,
let me talk about some of these friends. Alvin Strock, was he at Harvard when you knew him?
No, he was finished already. He was retired when I knew him already. He was a lot older than I was, but he was a nice, young-looking guy. And no, he was retired, and he used to come to some of our meetings, and then he came to my office a few times, to make sure I get his stuff in the book.
Everybody wants their stuff in the book.
Yeah.
Tell me about Dr. Dahl.
Gustav, he was one of the sweetest people you want to know. He was just, I'll tell you what happened to him. He went ahead, and in 1938, I think that's when he put his first, I have it written in my new book, but it's 38 and 42. Those are the dates that confuse me. I think in 1938 is when he put his first subperiosseal implant in.
Yeah.
And he had his own laboratory and everything else. And what happened was the Swedish government got after him. He put about 14 subs in. And the Swedish government got after him. They said that we don't want you ever to put another one in. We want you to take out all the others because they could cause all kind of problems. Well, he resisted it for quite a while. And I still don't know whether he ended up taking out or not, but I know he gave up practice because of that. Yeah.
Because I think he was 42, where he's usually credited for doing the first sub.
No, I know 42 he did the mucosal inserts. That was his invention also.
55.
Well, I'm not sure. He has his patents earlier than that. No,
really?
His patents were
really?
38 and 42. I'm almost sure about that. Yeah. And then Raphael Sheshev, he was quite a guy. He's a little guy. Maybe he was 5 foot tall, but he was a dynamite guy. I could tell you a story with him. It's unbelievable. We're coming home one night. He's got me in his car, one of these little tiny cars, and he's going fast as can be. from Larry Boisier Hospital, and all of a sudden he hits an old man that's walking across the street, and the guy floated right on top of the front of the car.
You were in the car with him?
In the car with him, yeah, right in front. He stops the car, gets out, carries the guy. There was a hospital right there, and he brings him into the hospital, and 5 minutes later he's out and he says, let's go.
This is
I tell you stories, it's...
What about Formagini? Did you know him?
No, I did not know Formagini. He was a lot. I don't think he was alive at the time when I came around. I knew Sialom. Sialom was a mastermind in his with the needle implants. He invited me once over there to lecture at his place, and he must have had 1,000 people there, and they had 2 of the women carrying me down like this, you know, like, and he knew how to make money with that. He had his son and his business. They were, oh yeah. And another thing, I'll tell you a story. This is a story you wouldn't believe this either. There was a friend, a doctor who I eventually became very friendly with, Dr. Giordano, Giorgio Nalducci from Milano. We became very, very good friends. But when he first came over to me, the deep voice he's got, you know, he looks like a mafioso guy. And I was still in the basement working in there, and he comes in, and he throws a tripod in front of my face of Ceylon. So I take it and throw it back at him. Because I'll tell you this, and I said, you come with me. And I take him in the back in my private office, and I got carousel stacked to the sky. I said, you sit here and look what I've been doing. And I go back and work. And every couple hours I go back, and he's pushing it in, looking like he never saw the blades, you know what I mean? Never saw it. At the end of the day, he throws his arms around me, and he says,
Shalom?
No, Nalducci.
Okay.
And he says, I want to be your what is, huh?
Apprentice.
Yeah, no, not that. He wants to be my manager to bring me into Italy. Listen to this. And he tells me the story. He says, I was getting 20% of all needles sold in Italy from Sialom. And Sialom got me over here to get you to become president of this society. And I see now what you got, so I want to be your friend. So to make a long story short, he invites me over, and I start becoming very friendly with him. And then I'm invited to give a tremendous course at the Cavalieri Hotel in Rome. Oh, they must have had 400 or 500 people there to do live surgery. They had everything set up. Siemens had everything in there for me. And I'm doing surgery, and all of a sudden, there's big doors in the back, and I see they have about 8 or 10 of the Italians pushing the door in, and from the other side, they're trying to push it out. I said, what the hell's going on here? He grabs a hold of me and says, come on, let's get out of here. I said, what do you mean, get out? I'm right in the middle of surgery. You got to come with me. You got to come with me. Gets me on a train what the hell is it? Switzerland. I had to go to, what's that big city in Switzerland? I was there so many times.
Geneva, Zurich?
Zurich. He says, what's wrong? He says, you're not allowed to do any surgery in Italy. There were cops out there. I said, for Christ's sakes, why didn't you tell me these things? So they rushed me to a hotel in Zurich, and I stayed there.
Till
and then I went
till it cooled down.
No, and then I went home from there, and I was afraid they were going to get me when I got home. You know, when you check in with the thing, but it was okay. It was because what happened. This is what happened. Salome, when he saw that he couldn't get me to be the president, because he'd come into New York and he tried to get me to be the president of and he'd give me 20% of all the needles that are sold. I said, I want you to look at these extra. Nope, I don't want to look at it. He said, if you're quiet, too much. If you, okay.
What I was going to tell you is, really want to not only thank you for being here, but I got to tell you, we just really want to thank you for positioning us in a way that we can take care of people in ways that would not have happened if you had
I appreciate
paid that
very
price.
much. I appreciate that.
We wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for people like you who have been so gracious and kind about giving of your information, not only here but around the world. You've been a person who's given to the school in New York University. You have been a pillar, a pioneer, and a friend to everybody in implant dentistry.
Oh, thanks so much.
We thank you so much for being here with us today and taking your time again.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this. Give us one last piece of advice for us and our students. If you're going to give us one last piece of advice as we go forward for the next 10 years?
Be honest with them.
Be honest with them.
That's my advice.
You think we're less honest today because of manufacturers?
Yes.
You think that's what's happening?
That's what I see. I mean,
Yes.
Sure. I mean, they're getting good. I mean, a few fellas that work for me, I don't want to mention any names, used to work for me. They're big shots now working. They get $5,000 a day from these manufacturers. You know what I mean? It's nice money.
Let's be honest.
That's it, really and truly. Listen, I know you got the talent. I hear a lot of great things about you, really.
Thank you. And let me ask you one thing. Where do you think the next big invention is going to be, the next thing that's going to take us further than we ever thought before? What do you think, if you had to guess? Where would it be?
I got a lot of things myself. I just gave it to, what's his name, today again. You ever hear of a scissor implant?
No.
It's a unique thing, simple thing. It's just, it's so simple, it's unbelievable. I did a few of them way back, but then I stopped because I saw everybody was going for screws, and it's becoming a very big thing. Also, I have a prefabricated subperiosteal implant that's a moron could put it in. It's so simple.
Ed, even you can do it.
I'll try.
And no, but what I'm disappointed. If you want to ask me what I'm disappointed, I'm very frustrated about that, and that is that I always believed in a multimodal approach, and it's not happening. It's just screws, and it's a shame because there's such a need for blades. There's such a need for subperiosteal implants. See, just I gave a 4-hour lecture with Norquist on subperiosteal implants.
With stereolithic models now, CAD
So
scan technology, shouldn't it be much easier?
It
to
is,
do?
but I still always took impressions. I mean,
But I tell you,
but for the average guy, yeah, sure it is, certainly.
Well, you also had hands, from what I understand, that are unique for many individuals.
Well,
Some of us need to simplify it.
yeah.